Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Welcome to Broom Talk, the podcast where witches, healers, and magic makers gather to share their journeys, their magic, and their truths. I'm your host, Priestess Mellisa of Enchanted Dragonfly, inviting you to take a seat at the broom circle because the real magic is in the stories we tell. So let's stir the cauldron and speak the spell. So I have another magical being with me today. So tell us your name and your business name.
So my name is Richa. I am the founder and owner of Purrfect Henna. So it's Purrfect, like a cat purr. Yes, it's Purrfect Henna.
Oh, I love that.
And crafts, yeah. It's in memory of one of my cats.
Oh, that's so sweet. And could you tell us a little bit about that?
So I have been into animal rescue and animals like since the story is when I was 3.5 years old. I told my parents I would have loved them that much more if there were a couple of dogs. And I keep getting reminded of it every so often. So I've been into animals all my life. So when 3 years ago, one of my cats passed away. He was my bottle foster and he was 13 when he passed away. So he had a good life. But when he passed away, I wanted to do something in his memory that would benefit other animals, right? So I was like, what can I do? I had the regular corporate job and I was like, okay, I don't have any skills. Like, what should I do? But then somebody said, you know how to do henna? I was like, yeah, but I just do it for friends and family, They're like, well, people like it. You don't think it might be good? I was like, okay. So I did my first event. All I had was a 6-foot table, a bed sheet, and a cork board which said Perfect Henna, and that was it, and my henna cones. That was it. And that's how it started. And I did my first event. I didn't even know what events were, what artisan markets were, but I did my first event in September of 2022. He passed away in July. And since then it has blossomed into a huge thing.
Yeah. Did you want to talk about what it is that you do
now?
You can.
So what I do is whatever money I make, 100% of the profit is donated. So when I started with just henna, it was getting donated to cat shelters here because both my boys, the one who passed away and his brother from a different mother, they were my fosters from Connecticut Humane Society. So that's when I started doing here. But then I realized, for me, I just love all animals. Like there was a beautiful spider in the back.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, so I was careful not to disturb her.
And leave him there.
Yeah, she's your roommate.
Yeah.
So I was like, why just cats? And then, so what I do is I donate 100% of my profit to animal rescue work in India because we have a lot of street animals, unfortunately. And so far in the 3 years that I've been doing this, we've been able to spay and neuter about 1,800 cats and dogs on the streets. But it's a trap and neuter release. Like, we release them back on the streets. And I also support feeding of about 300 street animals every day. So it's cows and donkeys and what is a male cow, ox, and bulls and stuff that are on the streets. So we feed them, and dogs and cats, of course. So that's what I do. And now it's just not henna. I realized I'm also a painter, that I never thought anybody would give me a penny for my painting. But people like them, and I started painting. So I paint apparel, so I do wearable art. I paint bags.
Nice.
I paint anything I can paint. Like lids of jars. So when I was home one time in India and I was getting bored out of my mind, I painted my mother's entire Tupperware lids, and they had and my mother was like, "Oh, my kitchen looks so pretty," and I was like, "All fine." So and my most recent, I've been dabbling in metal laser art. So I make the drawings and then I go to the library and use their machine to cut out the laser. So yeah.
That's awesome. And that sounds so fun. Yeah. And who knows, you have hidden talent, right? Once you start down
Exactly. But I do have a full-time job. So people ask me, oh, you donate everything. I'm like, no, I'm not like some saint. I have a full-time job that allows me to pay all my bills, give me a life of decent living, and I'm very blessed, and I think it's a huge privilege to have that security that allows me to do this. Otherwise, if you're struggling for daily needs, there's no way. Charity begins at home, right?
Right. You have to fill your cup first.
Exactly.
That's wonderful.
Thank you.
And where are you located?
So I live in Providence. Well, technically I live in Pawtucket, which is like 2 streets over is Providence.
Yes.
So, yeah. So that's where I live. I don't do Purrfect Henna is not a brick and mortar place. It is in my home and in my heart and on Facebook and it lives on Instagram. So that's where I am. But I am in the process of getting my website done. So
Nice. That would be
hopefully
awesome.
I'll be yeah.
Absolutely. Nice.
And one more thing I would like
Sure.
to add is when I do the apparel or the bags, I don't have the time or the skill, honestly, to make any of that. So I actually work with artisans in India, especially female artisans. So I work with a couple of nonprofits that work with displaced women. So they are women either from domestic abuse, violence cases, or tribal women who are displaced because of dams or too much flooding in West Bengal. So they make the clothes for me. They make the base materials, like the bags they'll make and I'll embroider them, or they'll make the jute bags, I'll paint them. They make handmade paper journals and then I paint the journals on top. So that is my way of supporting the community back home. And then whatever profit I make gets funded and channeled into helping the animals.
That's awesome. Yeah. And it's nice that you can support their craft from like your home away from home, right?
Right. And I also feel like, unfortunately, the tourist market makes the actual artist very vulnerable to the middleman and they get a penny to a dollar. So when I work directly with the ladies, I make sure that they get a fair, instead of them selling it to the shop for 10 and then me buying from the shop at 50, I would rather pay 40 to them. I'm saving 10 and they're making another 20, 30 extra. So,
Yeah, it's important because a lot of times it just thins out by the time you
exactly.
get
By the
so
time it goes to
many.
the artisan, there's nothing.
Yeah. That's good.
But-
Nice. Awesome. And how did you start doing what you do?
As in, how did I learn?
Yeah, how you learn, and you mentioned because of your little one passing away, and was there anything else that you want to add to that story?
So, as I said, I was doing henna. So, I doodle. So I don't know if it's a thing or there's a name to it, but I doodle when I need to focus. I need to keep my hands busy. So when I'm in a meeting or when I'm in all my colleagues know that if I'm doodling in my notebook in a meeting, that means I'm 100% focused on the meeting. So I was doodling always, and then the doodling kind of became like, oh, why don't I do henna? It's all doodle. And then the sketches happened. Most of my the thing that I was showing you, the dragonfly, was a doodle in one of my meetings.
Nice.
So that's how I do my art mostly. But I am not a trained henna professional or a trained artist. I never went to school for it. So a lot of times I struggle with the technical vocabulary. But I learn from YouTube sometimes, and I'm trying to now foray into watercolors, which I think is a very unforgiving medium.
Yeah.
So I've been looking at a lot of YouTube videos. I haven't done anything yet.
Yeah,
but
that's okay.
I bought all the supplies.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Sometimes you have to absorb the energy.
Yeah,
First.
and then also get into that zone with my job is very right-sided. It's a very analytical number, job. So
yeah, it's awesome that some people do automatic writing, but you do automatic art.
yeah,
Right?
I mean, I'm
And
just
it's
like,
that's
I
cool.
have to keep my hands busy.
Mhm.
So
And you're like
yeah.
not as focused on the art as
exactly.
you are.
And if I'm on the call, if I'm on a meeting in a call, then I don't do it. I sweep and mop, and my house is the cleanest when I'm in long day meetings.
That's awesome. And what type of practitioner are you?
I would call myself I don't do one modality. I think my thing is like a living healing, because I work with these artisans that, I talk to them at least 10 times a month because I need my products, or I need I design blocks for fabric textile designing digitally, and then they send them to India, and then they transfer them on pieces of wood, and then they're hand blocked. So I do block print, and then I buy the clothes from them, and then all this back and forth with the artisans and the animals. I think I would call myself a compassionate healer, if that's a thing, because I don't do any of the modalities of Reiki or tarot, but for me, art is healing, tells a story, and a little bit of compassion can go such a long way for the communities around us. So
Yeah, art is definitely healing. Like music is another form of art where
absolutely.
you're drawing and bringing those images to life is
Yeah.
definitely healing.
But I've also realized this artist within me only came out when it found a mission to fulfill. So the fact that I have a bigger, like now winter is coming, right? And 2 weeks ago I had a bad bout of flu. Whatever is going on, I had it. And I've been doing artisan events every weekend. And I was like, God, I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I just need to sleep. Why do I do this? There's not much money in it. So, and then I was like, no, winter is coming. The children need the supplies, they need the blankets, and then the food. And there's so many, when I say children, I mean the cats and dogs and cows. They sleep on the streets in the winters, and I'm from the desert. It gets really, really cold. So that motivates me. I'm like, okay, I need to finish a painting.
Yeah.
So I think the artist only comes out when it has a mission to do.
Yeah.
But other than that, I wasn't painting for myself.
Yeah, it's with that motivation to keep it going.
Yeah.
What's your spiritual, daily, or magical practice like?
So one of my biggest thing I do is every night, I do my beads. This is, I don't know if you know what this is, Rudraksh. It's considered a holy. It's a bit of a tree, like a fruit.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but it's considered it has a lot of healing properties and all. So I do my. What is it called in English when you do?
Make a tea? No.
When you just go with the mala.
Oh, I
meditation,
forget,
but it's called
something. I forget the name.
I call it just a jap. Like it's like when you just go bead by bead, and like it's 108 beads, and so that every night I do that, and that's for blessings of health and safety for I have 4 rescue cats and 2 dogs, and I'm currently fostering 2 kittens, so I do that a lot. So I do that, and I think my most magical practice is when I walk barefoot on the earth, and I have my dogs or my cats around me. Although right now they have messed up my entire backyard, so I'm like, and I'm training my new dog to not poop in the backyard so I can walk. But yeah, that's anytime I feel connected to the mother, that's when I feel the most grounded and most uplifted as well. So but that 10 minutes every night, a little bit of neck stretches, my rosary, and then my just my conversation with the universe.
Nice. Who or what inspires your path the most?
Animals.
That's good.
And I don't. It sounds very weird if I say this, but there is also a lot of existential guilt that I don't know. Maybe I was born with, or I don't know where it comes from. But anytime I see an animal that I have not been able to save, like when I go to shelters, especially when you go to India, and you look at a dog, he looks at you like, take me with you, like save me, and you can't, because you just can't save them all. And you turn away, and then you realize whenever that they died in an accident or something happened, that guilt is sometimes crippling, and sometimes it is the wind beneath my wings is like what I have to do. So a lot of time people call me crazy, and especially nobody in my family is into animals. So again, I mean they tolerate them because they're my kids, and when they come visit, they are like, okay, you have all these creatures, but so a lot of times people are like, you already have 6, why do you have foster more? Why don't you make time? And so there's a lot of the guilt that plays into it, because I have to do it for my own mental well-being. It is a lot of work. It does take away, and I'm single, so there's no support system. But sometimes that motivates me, if that's a motivation. That you do things out of guilt. And the other thing is like, every life that you end up saving, or like, it's so rewarding, like, it's just, I don't know, it just makes you feel like, I feel like when you're born as a human, shouldn't you strive to do something with this life that makes it better for somebody else?
Better for the world. And,
at least like I mean, I don't have those lofty things, like I can make it, at least if I can make a difference for one. I think that's what being a human.
You change their world for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And is it inconvenient? Absolutely. Is it messy? Yes. Exhausting all the time.
Yeah.
But it's so worth it at the end of it all. So yeah, that's why I do it.
Yeah, they definitely thank you. And the universe notices that too, especially,
I think every good thing that has happened in my life is because of all the earthworms that I picked in the rain. And then I'm walking, there are like so many on that I bend down. And one day I was walking at my work, and as I said, I work corporate America. So like, it was raining, and somebody stopped their car and was like, did you lose something? Do you need help? I was like, oh yeah, I'm just picking up earthworms. And they were like, why are you messing with, like, if you don't want to tell me what you're doing, like, you crazy woman, don't. But like, yeah, okay, whatever. And they just drove off. I'm like, no, literally, that's what I was doing. I'm just picking up the earthworms.
So I could run over and
But yeah, I think that it's their combined blessings that I'm very happy with the life I have. So very grateful.
That's good. What was your biggest challenge you faced on your journey, and how did you overcome it?
I think personally, my biggest challenge has been the lack of support. And I'm trying to find my community in the artisan, in the magical world. And it has been great. But I think also a lot of time people want the support, or they want to give the support, but then life gets in the way. And as I said, I'm single. Anybody looking out there who's available? You never know. I'm just putting it out. I'm putting it out there. I'm telling the universe. If you love animals,
she's open for honey.
Yes. I'm looking for a foster dad for all
my. There's some out there.
Yeah. So that gets a little bit challenging. Physically, arthritis runs in my family, and I'm starting to get it. I also turned 50 last month, so the body is what the body does, so those are my more practical challenges of not having, like, when you have to do an event, set up the tent, do all this stuff, it gets physically tiring. And then a lot of times I don't get the support from the people who are nearest and dearest to me, who don't either understand why I do what I do, or think I'm just like woo-woo crazy, super sensitive, oversensitive, why do you think so much kind of a person. So that's my biggest challenge, because that can mentally get me in not a very good place. And then I start questioning, like, why, especially when you have a bad event and you put in all the effort and then you don't make anything, and you're like, why do I do this? Why do I put myself through all this drama and trauma? And then you can recalibrate and you go home, look at all the children, you're like, oh yeah, of course I know why I do it. But so that's how I overcome it. It's just, I look around and I don't know, you're in the magical world yourself, and you realize, like, I think people like us have a lot of empathy, which is sometimes a bit too much, and you feel what's going around you. And right now in this environment, with the wars that I have, like, against humanity, against Mother Earth, against the animals, there's something that's going wrong in so many areas. So then sometimes it gets overwhelming, and you're like, what's the use? Sometimes that's where I go. It's like, what's the use? I keep trying to sterilize, and there are like thousands more, and like it's useless, and what's the point? And then you have people in your life who say, oh, why did you bring this puppy home? You can't save them all. And then you have to, can I at least save this one? Can I at least try saving this one? So that sometimes pulls me down. And then I just have to pep talk. And then I'm lucky enough to have a few very good friends who will tell me, like, you're making a difference in their life. And that's all you can do. And so they talk me down, talk me out. And then I'm back to, You
may not be able to change the world, or you are actually changing the world by doing this. We are definitely changing their world.
And I think what I believe, since I was like a young child, I've believed in the power of one. If you do what is right by you, that's all you need to worry about. And the world can either follow, dismiss, ridicule, do whatever they want to do. That's not your problem. That's not your purview. It's not under your remit. You can only do what you can do.
Right.
And I know, like, especially in India, like, you will go there. Now it's much better, but people would litter, and they would just throw things around. Like, they will eat something, throw the wrapper out. And if you tell them, they'll be like, oh, there's so much trash around. What is one wrapper going to make a difference? And I'm like, you just worry about your own trash, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who cares what other people are doing? You don't throw, you do the right thing that you think is the right thing, and that's all it should matter. So I keep reminding myself of that philosophy, that I can do only what I can do, and then the rest is as rest is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What tools, methods, or spirits guide your work?
Owls.
Nice.
I am very drawn to owls. I don't know for what reason. The mother. When I say the mother, it's Earth.
Earth.
Yeah, Earth. My tools are paintbrush, sketch pens. I can't draw much. As I said, I doodle, but it's like just doodles. I can paint. So that and henna. I still sometimes when I can. My grandmother had planted a henna bush. So a lot of people don't know. They think it's ink. It's not. It's a paste made from a plant. So my grandmother had planted a henna bush about 75 years ago. So when I go to India and I can get a chance, I do go and collect some leaves from there, bring them home, and then I'll grind them, make my paste. So that I find kind of connects. She's passed on since then. She was 95, so she lived a very good life. So in a way, I feel like it connects me sometimes with her, and so
that's lovely. Yeah, I love that you're able to bring that home with you.
Not a lot of time, because with COVID, I didn't get to travel much, and now I'm going again soon, but I don't know if I'll be able to go to her, her home.
Hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
Open, yes. Yeah. How do you stay energetically protected and grounded?
I need to learn that. I think through sheer, I don't know, just wake up and one step after the next, what is the other option? But I need to, maybe you can give me some tips. I
maybe say gratefulness or affirmation.
Those I do. So when I do my beats in the night, I always count the things that I'm grateful for. Something as simple as today I would be grateful for this opportunity. Something as simple as the fact that I don't live in a war-torn country, that I have food and shelter, and those I am so beyond grateful right now for those things. And it can go like this, there was a time when I would be driving and I would see these people on the crossroads. And I was like, why are they such a bum? Why don't they get a job? I was so judgmental of them. They are here because of something they did, or because they weren't responsible in their lives or whatever. And now I realize how quickly anything and everything can change for a person, and how easy it is to be in that situation where they are. So that has brought me a lot of understanding and compassion. So I'm very grateful. I mean, yes, I feel bad, but I'm also very grateful that I am not in that situation. I don't know if that sounds selfish.
No, not at all. It makes you grateful for your life, and you're grateful to have food, have a roof over your head. Absolutely.
And not be so fortunate to be in this situation where you're not struggling to just exist.
Which happens a lot. To a lot of people. One common misconception about your craft or your work?
Well, that henna is ink. Or that, what colors do you have? And I'm like, henna is only one color. I don't know what colors. So initially when they would ask me this question, I would be like, do I not know something about henna? And then it turns out people are used to that blues and the pinks, and those are all dyes that are used. So I learned that. Other thing is, now lately, unfortunately, AI is ruining it because I do a lot of apps. I'll make a rough, because I said I'm not very good at drawing, so I'll do rough things, and then I splash color, and then let the color do what it does, and I do Dutch pours and pouring. And just yesterday, people were like, "Oh, is this AI?" And I'm like, "No, no, it's not. Look at it. There's no most." If you know AI, there is generally a mark somewhere that will tell you it's AI. And I'm like, no, it's not AI, it's me. They're like, oh, it's very nice. And then I can look of skepticism on them, and I'm like, dude. And then chemo is killing it for all of us handcrafters.
My goodness.
Because I just realized, so I paint animals a lot. Big surprise. So I had a dress made out of one of my cat paintings.
Nice.
And then a friend of mine sent me a screenshot of a Temu thing that they had the same dress.
What?
So basically, when you post things online is what I'm realizing. So I, of course, when I had the dress made, I had to send photos of my thing to whoever is going to make them in India and do the fabric. And then so, because I couldn't afford to do it here. So, but apparently they steal your stuff when it goes online. Like once it's on the net, it's free game.
It's awful.
So, and then there was one painting I had made. It was just a simple black line with a black silhouette of a cat peeping over a ledge. And it just says, "I'll be watching you," kind of a thing. And then I realized that there are, at Target, there were tea towels with that print. And I'm like, so now unless you either go to like patent or, how do you patent art?
Yeah.
And it's a black silhouette of a cat. You can make it, I can make it, but
Yeah.
because I knew what it was.
Yeah, maybe copyright your stuff or trademark it or
Yeah,
something.
but how do you do that? Like as a small artist, I don't know how to do
There's
that.
a copyright office that you can look up and connect with online. So yeah,
So every piece you then have to register?
You can, yeah. I would just do something. It's painful, but it helps protect your artwork. So
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Can you share a powerful or memorable client transformation?
Client transformation?
Yeah.
So since I don't practice healing arts in that way, but one of the things that touched me the most was I was doing this event in Manchester, New Hampshire, and there was a huge line for henna. One of my most successful events, honestly. And there was a lady, and I have been doing henna for almost 2 hours straight. And you know, I have new respect for all the henna artists. The neck hurts, like you're doing this and I have arthritis in my thumb, so this thing swells up after a little while, and then it gets locked, so I have to manually so I was trying to take a break, and there was this woman, and she was like, "It's okay, you can take a break. I also don't know if I'll be able to afford anything you're doing." I said, "My designs start at $5 all the way to like whatever, it depends on the intricacy of the design, but I want it to be affordable and like, you know, it should be within reach for most people." So then she said, "Can I just sit down, though I've been standing in the line?" And she was like, so then she starts telling me, so she said, "I don't want anything from your thing. If I show you a photo, can you make it?" I said, "Show me a photo." It was a fingerprint, like a print. And she said, "I want it here." So I said, "Okay." So then I was doing it, and I just started asking, I said, "It's a very unique thing that I've never like." So she told me her story. She said, it was her son who would hold her hand like this and who decided to end his journey on this earth at 19. And she said it would have been his 21st birthday that day. And it was just, I was just so honored that she chose me to do that design for her. And I said, "Can I just make like something that was coming to me to do for her?" And I said, did his name start with this alphabet? She's like, "How do you know?" And I said, "I don't know. It just, can I write?" And she's like, "Yes, please." So I did a little bit of stuff around her. And of course, it was my gift to her. It was like, it was a very, I don't know if she was transformed. I was transformed. I had never realized. She was like, she had tears in her eyes, and she's like, "This looks so amazing. It's going to stay here for a little bit. Maybe if she's like, I like it enough, maybe I'll get it tattooed."
Nice.
And I was like, it was just very, very, that's when I realized like, oh, my art can do this. Yeah. And then I've done cancer parties. Like I once did a henna party for this lady who was going through chemo, and she had lost all her hair. And 3 of her friends, amazing, God bless her for having such amazing friends, they decided to shave their heads to, you know, support her.
Wow.
So I did henna on their heads for these ladies, and it was just, they made it so joyful, something that was so, I'm sure, traumatic physically and emotionally. They made it into this thing, and I was just, again, so honored to be part of that whole journey.
Yeah.
So, Yeah.
Those are
I get
beautiful.
transformed. I don't know, my clients
absolutely.
get transformed, but yeah.
Oh, those are beautiful. Yeah. Yeah, I can definitely see how that would transform anybody. What sacred self-care practices keep you aligned?
I'm not very good at that. Self-care, and I'm not. And that's something I'm struggling with, and I want to do more of, like, just sitting quietly and not the phone of doom.
Phone of doom.
Yeah, it's that's where I've gone to. It's the phone of doom now. But I do want to do a little bit more of laughter, a little bit more of like just play. And I'm not doing a lot of that right now.
Yeah.
So good thing for this question. Thank you, because it reminds me I need to do just that. And
more laugh and play and just be. Yeah,
and my animals provide me with so much opportunity, especially the new kittens that I have that need to find a home pretty soon, because this is what happens. I start falling in love and they start bonding with me, and I'm like, that's how all my 6 animals have. They're all foster fails at one point or the other, except one that I found roaming on the streets in Providence, like little 3-month-old kitten. And he looked at me and he goes, you have the makings of a perfect servant. I choose you. Take me home.
Makings of a perfect servant. Yeah.
And I've served him loyally for 4 years now. But there were other people trying to get a hold of him, and he was just running away. And he looks at me, jumps right on my shoulder, and he's like, servant, take me home. And I was like, yes, master.
That's awesome. So, what does success look like to you as a spiritual business owner?
My end goal would be to have just a little animal rescue / health center in my hometown or near my hometown, because we have zero. Zero. There is no concept like of shelters that you see here, either that are run by organizations or by the government. We have none of that. The government shelters only exist for cows, and that too because she's a sacred animal but treated miserably. Anyway, so I want to have, that would be my success, the end all success. But on a daily or monthly basis, success is for me to have an event that I did right by my clients who came, who wanted either henna or a piece of art, and that spoke to them, and I could bring joy to them, bring some kind of dignity and fair wages to the artisans behind the scenes who do a lot of my base work, and the fact that I can donate and support, because there are a lot of people on the ground who actually are doing the work. I think my contribution is the least ask, because all I do is transfer money. But there are people who are there who I don't think I could look into the eyes of the animals and choose to save these and choose, I would be a basket case in 10 days if I was doing that. But God bless these people and more power to them. They're boots on the ground who rescue these animals, who take in. And most of the time, Mellisa, these are the people who don't have much of anything on their own. Because these are the people who are the most compassionate. People who live in big houses, big mansions, who have cars and lots of food, they don't have that compassion. They don't have that, that they don't look beyond I, me, and myself. Yeah. And it's the have-nots, so to say, that have the compassion for beings less fortunate.
Experiencing that situation.
I don't know if it's that, or because when you get to a certain point, all you want is more, because you are like the Jones competing with the Joneses. I don't know what it is, but
it could be that too, or a combination of all that. But I've seen that too, absolutely.
Yeah. So,
do you follow the moon, astrology, or seasonal cycles in your work? That's okay.
Neither. Lunar. I mean, yes, I go lunatic every once in a while. So I guess lunar it is. But I do feel so. Long before I knew of any of this, because I come from a family where my mother is a doctor, my dad is a professor, I have a PhD in gender studies. I come from that. So, but also because I was born into a practicing Hindu family. But not a very bigoted traditional Hindu family. So we are an offshoot of the religion which doesn't believe in idol worship or like, in different forms of God. We believe in the fire and the one source of light or whatever. So there is a lot of paganism inbuilt into Hinduism, right? Because we worship the cow and the serpent and the trees, and like, there are certain trees that we find sacred, and like the holy basil is in everybody's yard, and that's the first thing you pray to in the morning. Like, so those things were there, but I didn't know this vocabulary wasn't there.
Yes.
Maybe my vocabulary was more Indian, more Ayurvedic, because that's the health science my grandmother followed, even though my grandfather was one of the first Indian physicians under the British rule. So I come from that kind of a mix of a family, so I didn't have this vocabulary.
Right.
But now that I know, I'm like, oh yeah, I've been pagan all my life.
Yes.
Like, yeah, I've been worshipping the Shiva, the Shakti, and the life forces and the energies, and like, the Kali Ma has been pivotal for me, and she's the destroyer and the starter of new things, and like, new energy. So yes, I don't know, lunar, I guess.
Yes. I love that. So many cultures we all have this one general same belief. It's just some of the details are different, or what we would have names for a deity is different, but it ends up being the same deity.
It's the same,
right?
and it's the same concept of the powers of nature, kind of coming and rising to fulfill and to make you who you are. Like, I remember there is a particular full moon night that we are supposed to make an offering with rice and like a rice pudding, like rice and milk, and keep it overnight under the moon. And it's supposed to and when we were growing up, we would foo-foo it, and you're like, oh, this is old wives' tale, whatever. That nothing happens. Read some science. Like, how you are. You're so arrogant in your youth, and you're like so stupid in your youth. But that's what we used to do. And then my grandmother would be like, no. And now, of course, I have read the science, and I know all the. I mean, if the moon can change the waves and change the ocean, I'm 80%, 75% water. So who am I to say the moon is not having an impact on me?
Right.
And all those rays and the whatever falls into that food. So even though we were like the practicing Hindus, we had that lunar thing, like how you cleanse under the full moon, how you put your crystals out for cleansing under the full moon. We were putting out our food and taking, and the next morning it was given to everybody as sacrament, like, that has been blessed by the moon. So
it's funny you say that. I saw a video not too long ago where somebody took their snacks and they put it out underneath the full moon and ate them after.
Yeah.
But it gets blessed with that energy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it does. You absorb. If you believe in energy, it's there. It's like air. You don't have to believe in it.
Definitely.
There is air. You breathe it.
Absolutely.
So you don't have to believe in energy or the universe. It's there.
Yeah.
I think we are very tiny people to think whether our belief or not, disbelief will change anything. It's there. You can believe in it or not.
It's going to be there.
It's going to be there. It's way bigger and way mightier than your beliefs.
Yes, that's so true.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So it doesn't, and if I say like, oh, I don't believe in you, the whoever it is will be like, I don't care, dear. Believe or not, I still exist.
Yes.
I don't care.
That's true. That's true. That is so true. What is something you wish more people knew about energy work, divination, rituals, what have you?
That I think a lot of people think it's like the last resort when you've given up everything, you're willing to believe anything kind of a thing. And that's when you turn to like, oh, can you read my card? But when you are going through a good time, and everything is right in your life, people don't turn to these things, right? But then people also don't turn to God during those times. Like, people will come to these rituals when they need help. I wish more people knew that if they chose that as a guiding principle throughout their life, good times and bad, it provides you with a more even keel to, go through, because we'll all have these.
Yes.
Nobody or nothing can make our lives just go like this. And then what's the fun in this? Like, anyways. So, but when you go through these and when you're here, these practices help you come out that much faster and quicker, because we all go there. The magic is in not getting stuck there. And
right.
Yeah. And I think these practices do help.
Yeah.
And I wish people would be more open to these things and not, I can get away with it because they're like, oh, it must be part of your culture. And I'm like, sure. Sure.
We'll go with that.
Yeah, and we actually do worship the fire. So when I had my housewarming, we had a little thing and we were worshiping the fire. All my family, everything was there. But if I did that in my backyard, people would probably think I was doing some kind of a voodoo magic. But then they would be like, "Oh yeah, she's from a different culture. Maybe yeah." They leave me alone probably, but yeah. So.
That's good advice. And what magic are you currently brewing in regards to any classes you're doing, events you're doing, what have you?
So I am doing your magical
I'm
event.
so excited to have you.
I am, and this is going to be my first event with you. And I love the name Enchanted Dragonfly.
Thank you.
When I used to be in my schools way back when in my university's rafting and kayaking teams, and when we would go to the river, there would be all these little dancing dragonflies, and you don't see them anymore in the urban areas that much. So I love that, especially when the light shimmers off their wings. So when I saw your name, and I was like, this was meant to be. Yeah, I need to be doing this event. So I am doing your event, and I'm working on my metal art, so I can bring some pieces to your event. And I think I've posted a couple of photos on your event page. So the metal art is something I'm delving in these days. That's something I've learned, and the library is an awesome resource. I hope people know that they have a maker studio, and they have a lot of machines while you figure out, because a lot of times I'll start doing something, like I started doing macrame, and I was like, oh, this is so fun, and then I did 2 projects. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm done. So I'm like, I'm not going to invest, because I go full board, I jump into the deep end, buy all the equipment, and then 5 days later I'm like, yeah, it was fun, now I'm done. So I've realized the library is a great place to go and get your art out, and then see if you're going to stick with it, and then invest. So but yeah, I'm excited. And then hopefully in the winters, when I'm going to delve into watercolor, because then I won't have that many events, and when you're home more often than not. So yeah,
that's a good way, instead of investing in so much money and equipment to see if you
I know. Like I did pottery, and I was like, oh, it's so romantic, and this guy would come, and I would have little streaks of clay on my face, and he'll fall in love. And now I have all my pottery tools. Thankfully, I sold the kiln and the wheel, and now I'm like, what do I do with these tools? Like, somebody take them for free, like just. So yeah.
That's awesome.
But the other magic I'm hoping the universe will brew for me is bringing me the community and the support that I really need at this time. Yeah. So I want to be able to do more events, and I want to be able to do like scale, but it's hard to do it as just one person.
It is, it's a lot of work.
And then you have a full-time job, 6 animals, a house, then this, and then you have to create the art to be able to sell it. So it just becomes a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
So self-care becomes
like
well,
there's been a lot of the more you're out there, the more people hear your story, then you get that team of peeps for yourself.
Yes.
So I have
some manifest.
Yes. So I have some fun questions for you. So, what is your sun, moon, and rising sign, if you know them?
I was born in August, so I'm a Leo.
Nice.
I've been told my ruling planet is the sun, and that's all I know.
That's all right. The Leo and the sun, that's a big one.
I don't know what my rising sign is, or my descending, ascending, and as I said, I come from a family of scientists, and can I have my, what is it called in English, birth chart made?
Oh, yeah.
My mother's like, really? Is this how I raised you? A birth chart? I'm like, never mind.
I'll figure it out, Mom.
And because she was a OBGYN, she's like, you think those things are correct? Half the time baby would be born, we'd be like, oh, it's not being, oh, by the way, time of birth, whatever, 3:33. Okay, it's time. She's like, those are not accurate.
Yeah.
You think doctors have nothing better to do when they're birthing children to note the time of birth? I'm like, really?
It's off by usually about 30 minutes or so.
Yeah, they're like, sometimes when we're exiting the OT, they'll be like, oh yeah, time of birth. What is the time right now? Oh yeah, 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's like, no birth chart for you. And I was like, okay, fine.
Do you have a favorite crystal, herb, or a tool that you always work with?
I'm very drawn to labradorite. I don't know much about crystals as such, but I have been, again, dabbling in making brooms, or they're called besoms. I have learned. So I come from a city in India, Jaipur, which is known for its semi-precious stones. So I know people who work with stones, and then they have, oh my God, my English has expired today. What are they called? Like the shavings or whatever, leftovers?
Yes, yeah.
Because they have all these technical words that are in my language that they tell me, like, we have these, do you want them? And I'm like, yeah, sure. So I get these pieces by weight.
Okay.
And then I make crystal brooms with them.
Oh, nice.
And then I do a wax melt on top of them so that they think, and then I do a press of either, I buy these charms online. I don't make them. They're metal charms that I stick on the top of the wax melt.
Oh, nice.
So they are either have a bumblebee or like the Egyptian, the beetle.
Oh,
Scarab, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that was something fun I did. I made like 10 or 20 brooms. They sold very well. And then I was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's funny.
I might make more. Yeah, I might make more. But I was like, there's only so much I should have in my booth, because now I have like, these crystals. Let me make sun catchers now.
Yeah.
So,
that's awesome.
Yeah, doodling is a bad habit. You just need to keep your hands busy and you come up with the craziest things. Yeah.
It's nice that you have multiple creative outlets, and then as the more you do, the more you come up with, and you just keep.
Yeah, but I've been sometimes like the other day, one of my neighbors in my booth in another event, and we are part of the same artisan guild, and she goes, "Girl, you need to pare down your stuff. Like you have." How much do you have? I was like, yeah, I just started with henna, and I don't know what happened, because now I do clothing, because I do the textiles and I do hand painted like shirts and t-shirts and bags. Like, so yeah,
that's awesome. Do you have a magical nickname or an archetype that you resonate with?
No, I have no nicknames. I need to get my dark side out, I guess. I don't know. Those are things I need to maybe work with you, and you can tell me.
We'll figure something out for you.
Yeah, my seductress out.
That's awesome.
Which I don't know. I'll be.
That's great. Would you prefer tea or tincture?
I don't know what a tincture is.
A tincture is like an herbal supplement, whether it's medicinal or just for general health or just the flavor, or some boost your health somehow. And it's usually made with sometimes oil, most of the time like a carrier, like an alcohol or something, and you would make it. You put it on your tongue. Some is mushrooms. Some would be like an oil for skin or.
So between the two, I've never had a tincture, so I don't know, but. What we call kada, Karha, kada. There's no sound that I can. Yeah, what kada is basically is water that you mix with a lot of different herbs based on the Ayurvedic principles, and you boil it to half, and then you drink it warm.
Okay.
And so what the French call the tisane, or like it's like it's a extraction of a lot of herbs in water by heat. So that's what I drink every single day.
Nice.
And it's 6 or 7 different herbs or spices and herbs rather.
Yeah. That would be
and
kind
oil.
Of, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But it's not like a tincturized form.
Right. Yeah. Right. Oh yeah. So it's almost like in the middle of the tea.
Yeah. Nice. So it's like a kada, and then like the herbal teas that we have. So for us, those are all form of kada, because you take holy basil and you take cloves and you take peppercorn.
Yeah.
You steep them in water and then you boil it and then you drink it. It's not a tea,
right?
For us,
but it's
a kada, because a lot of people call it tea here. For us, tea is when you put tea leaves in.
Yeah. Okay.
If there are no tea leaves, it ain't a tea. It's a drink.
It's a drink. Would you pick tarot or runes?
Tarot, because I don't understand runes at all.
Would you pick a cauldron or a candle?
Candle.
And if your spirit guide had a voice, what would it sound like?
It depends.
Yeah. Maybe you have multiple.
Yeah, I mean, my spirit has multiple personality disorder, like me. Because there are times when I need support, and it's the energy of Shivji that comes up, and he's very fatherly, deep voice, and it's almost like the mountains and the oceans, kind of like, I gotcha, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's Ma Kali, who she's angry and she's like, yeah, F it all, like I got you, but girl, I got you, let's go fight. And sometimes it's Mother Earth, who's gentle, who's like,
I got you, my love. Yeah.
And that's the voice.
Yeah.
I got you. It's not like, yes, let's go kill them all. Or Ma Kali saying, yes, let's start a new beginning now. You've gone through that cycle. I'm here. And, so when you close your eyes, you visualize, and that's the voice that speaks is the voice that speaks. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's also like, yeah, you're not doing me any favors. You do whatever. Like, I'll be like, oh, if you let me do this, and if this happens, I'll do this. And they're like, hey, you're not doing me any favors. We will do what we do. You do what you're supposed to do.
Nice.
So don't worry. Like the Gita says, you do the karma of what you are supposed to do as a human. The result, the fruit, the success, that's not your worry. And that's not even under your remit.
Yeah.
So if you just let go of that,
be all right.
It's so hard.
I know.
It's so hard to let go of that.
And you talk a little bit about your pets. Do you want to talk about them? Tell us a little bit about them.
Yeah, this all the time. Now you've asked a mother about her children. As I said, I have 6. I have a favorite. He's 16. He was my bottle foster at 3 weeks old when he came from the Connecticut Humane Society with his other brother. They were my 12th set of babies that we were fostering. At that time I was married, and we had never been exposed to cats in India. They were very unknown quantity to us, but then I wanted animals, but we were studying, we were poor, we had just come to the US. We couldn't commit to having an animal, but we were told there's a thing called fostering, and I was like, oh, this is the best. So this was a 12th set of cats that we had fostered. We fostered over 100 over a period of a year, and we decided to adopt them. So they came to me at 5 weeks and 3 weeks. His name is, he has a very long Indian name, but I call him Chiku. And he's a Maine Coon mix, and he's 16, and he's my heartbeat. I love him to death. He is doing okay now. He's an older boy, so he has his challenges. That's why I don't travel much now, because I want to be with him. Then his brother, who passed away, who started this whole Purrfect Henna. Then 4.5 years ago, I was at Savers in Providence, and I saw this little kitten running around, people trying to catch him. His mother, he was a stray, his mother was run over, and there were no other siblings, who knighted me with the servanthood for himself. So we ended up adopting. I brought him home. My other 2 cats were like, what the heck is this, Mom? It was just the 2 of us for like 10 years. What is this thing? And he came, and then I was like, okay, now I'm going to be a crazy cat lady. I have 3 cats. I need to have a dog. So I started fostering a dog for the RISPCA. He was a cruelty case rescue. He was a 4-month-old puppy that my new kitten and him became best friends. They were the same age. I ended up adopting him once the court case was settled, and that's my Sir Coco Puff. He's my dog, my first dog. And then the Sploots came. They were kittens from Aruba, because I foster for an organization called New Life for Paws. They rescue animals from Aruba. And there were 2 black cats that came. They were 3-month-old. One of them doesn't have a tail. He was born without one. And the other one had an umbilical hernia. So we weren't getting many adoption applications for them. And they were with me for over 2 months, and that was that. And I was like, they're mine now, they're mine. Yes. And so that happened. So they're collectively, I call them the Sploots, because they just sleep like this. So, and then in April this year, a little girl, my first girl, came from Mississippi, and I fostered in between. And every time it's a boy. Even when I'm supposed to get a girl, I ended up getting a boy. So this girl came from Mississippi. She's 2.5 years old at that time in April, and she was thrown out of a car when she was pregnant.
Oh my God.
And so she was found. We don't know what happened to her litter. And then she was crated pretty much at the vets, because no shelter had any space. So the lady reached out, and she's like, can you foster her? She came, I said, sure. She came literally 3 days after her spay surgery. So when she came to me in the truck and from Mississippi, she was all infected and her sutures were inflamed and there was a gap. And I was like, what to do? What the vets won't take her because she's not from a shelter that they are assigned to. I showed it to my mom. As I said, she's a physician and she's like, well, the sutures are inflamed and you need to take them off. And I'm like, how? She's like, you just snip them and pull the thread out. I'm like, no. But she allowed me, Munmun, the little dog, she just laid back. Once she allowed me to do that, I'm like, she trusts me. I started crying. I'm like, this is it. She's mine. She's mine. I'm adopting her. She's mine. And she's an all black dog. I think she's a mix of pit bull, Staffordshire. Like she's little but mighty. Yeah. She's the same weight as my bigger dog is. Oh wow. But she's like, you know,
Hefty
she's a
girl,
she's like the pit bull Staffordshire terrier in her. So I have 3 black cats and dogs, 1 tuxedo, 1 Maine Coon, and 1 a fairy tale dog, as I was told. He's brown and I was orange and white. Yeah, and he runs in he's a Brittany Spaniel Lab hound mix.
It's so cute.
I have a constant cartoon channel going on. Yeah. At home.
Awesome.
The dogs are chasing the cats are chasing each other, and then now the kittens are thrown into the mix. I am yelling sometimes I'm just sitting on the floor laughing my head off.
Yes,
and sometimes I'm like, please. I have t-shirts for my cats that says, I am the reason we can't have nice things.
Yes.
So
that's awesome.
It's a house full of love. I have 75 indoor plants that I always am fighting to keep alive because of I can see that. My children. Yeah.
Because of my children. So that was all the questions I had for you today. Did you want to talk about anything else?
I think the only thing I want, if anything people will take from this, is that when you support small businesses, you're not only supporting like art, but you're supporting a dream that somebody's had. You're supporting maybe a mission behind that dream that somebody might have. And also like a little bit of compassion has such a ripple effect that I have been witness to that firsthand. It's like, you know, I never thought I would ever reach a place where I would have been able to support spay and neuter surgeries for so many of street animals or feed so many. So it's a huge, but again, it's a drop in the ocean. So please go to these vendor events, these artisan markets. Things might be a little bit more expensive than what you will pay at a Walmart or Target, but they're because they're handmade, they're sourced ethically, and they're not mass produced. They're not fast fashion. They're not like here now, gone tomorrow. So
that's true.
So you know, and things are in this day and age, whatever your politics is, I think we need to stand by each other and support things in a smaller way to make a bigger impact.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good way to put it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that was beautiful. Well, thank
Can
you
I
for
ask you a
joining me.
question though?
Sure, of course.
So when you do these podcasts, like what do you want people to take away from this? And
I want all of you who are my guests to be seen, to be heard, to be supported. I want people to go to your places or come to my place and support us, you know, and keep making all these magical, wonderful things happen. So that's why I do this. And so,
thank you. I am so blessed you had me, and it was such an honor.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for being here. I'm going to put a link for them to find you in the description. Do you want that to be your Facebook?
Yes, please.
Okay. Absolutely.
And I will apologize ahead of time. I'm not the most tech savvy. Like I'm still trying to figure out Instagram. Yeah, but I work in tech. Yeah. That's my job. But I'm an auditor.
You know, they keep changing things, so it doesn't make it quite easy.
Yeah, exactly. So I update my Facebook way more than I update my Insta because I don't know how to. So.
Okay. So I will put her link for her Facebook in the description. Go check her out. Buy some art. Come check her out at the Enchanted Market coming up in a few days, and check out her other events. And as always, come check us out at Enchanted Dragonfly. We are a metaphysical shop at 99 Church Street in Whitinsville, Massachusetts. And give this channel a follow, subscribe to the channel, like this episode, share the episode, help us get the word out. And as always, bless be. Love y'all. Bye, guys.
Namaste.